Now we are going to learn about layer management in AutoCAD. So before going to that, I have created objects to a separate location. Now I am going to open a new drawing. So I go into application menu, go to new and select AutoCAD ISO.dwt as my template and I will open it. So now I move back to the original drawing and I will click all these things or select all these things, right click and go to clipboard and copy. Then I move into this drawing, the new drawing, right click, then clipboard and select paste. Now I will zoom out to get a clear view and click here to paste the objects. Now in AutoCAD, everything we do, we have to do on a layer. So in this objects, this is a window frame, this is a bathtub, this is a sofa, this is a sink and this is a copy machine. So there are 5 different objects here. So when you are drawing these objects, it is good to draw them in separate 5 layers. First we need to create those layers. Now since we have already created these objects, now we can create the layers and assign the layers to these objects. Otherwise first you can create the layer and draw the object in that layer. So currently all these objects are drawn in a layer called layer 0. So on your home tab you have this layers panel. Here you can see the current layer. So if you select this object, it will show you the layer is layer 0. So you can see the available layers on your drawing by going to layer manager. So layer manager is accessed from here, layer properties. So if you click here, you can see it will show you the available layers. Currently in my drawing, I have only one layer. This is the 0 layer. So from here, you can turn on or off your layers. So if you click here, you can turn off this layer. Then all these objects will be disappeared from the drawing. Same thing can be done through the freeze layer option as well. So if you click there, you will see the layers will be frozen. That means it is similar to turn off layers. Since I have only one layer here, I can't freeze that layer. So if you want to lock the layer, you can lock these layers. After locking a layer, you cannot draw on that layer because it is locked. So it is giving about plot details here and the color of that layer, line type of that layer, line weight of that layer. So if you want to create a new layer, you can use this option. So I will click this option to create a new layer. So let us say we are having a new layer for window frame. So we will type the new layer as window, right? So then you can set a color for that one. Let us say we assign a red color for that one and click OK. Then you can set a line type. So if you click here, you can see you only have one line type here. So we can't add any more line types, but still you can load other line types. We are not going to go into that detail at this stage. Then you can set the line weight. That means how much thicker is the line on your drawing. So you can set up different line weights according to your drafting requirement. So I will just accept the default one. So let us say I have created the window layer. Now I will create another layer for this bathtub. So I will click, instead of going new layer, you can copy this existing layer to another layer by pressing enter. You have to select the layer first, then press enter. It will automatically give a copy of that layer. So this time I will rename it as bathtub. And I will change the color of it as yellow and click OK. So similarly you can create the other layers as well. So now I have created all the layers with layer names and their distinctive colors. So if you have to have more description about that layer, you can add them here. So I will close this for the moment. Now let us say we need to set up the related layers to this each object. So I will select this object. This is the window frame. So I will click this drop down to get the related layers. So I will select window from here. Now it will become red. So again I will move on to bathtub and change the layer as bathtub, and I press escape. Then I select the sofa layer and select it for sofa. Press escape. Similarly go for sink, and finally we will change the layer to copy machine. Now you can see we have set separate layers to each object. So using the separate layers, we can identify each object in AutoCAD very easily. So that is why we use layer management in AutoCAD. Now we are going to talk about blocks in AutoCAD. So before that, I have drawn a rectangle here. So if I click this rectangle, you can see on the layer it is a layer called wall. So this is a inner wall inside a space. So what we are going to do now is I am going to copy this sofa inside this space. So what I do is I launch my copy command, select the objects, right click, and for the base point I use this point, and I click this, and let us say I need to have two of them. I click here and press enter. Now this is copied. So let us say I need to rotate this. So what I do is I launch my rotate command, I select this object, right click, and from this point let us say I will rotate for some random angle. So I can redo the same thing to this one if I needed, but the problem here is everything we do, we need to select all these lines every time. So it is kind of cumbersome. So in that case, we will be using blocks in AutoCAD. So that way I can select the objects at once without selecting everything. So to create a block, we need to go to Insert tab and click this one, create block, and my name of the block will be sofa, and I have to select the object that should be included in the block. I go here, I select all these objects that is inside that block, then I right click, then for the pick point I click here and I select this middle point as the pick point. So I will explain that later, what is the pick point, and I will use the other things as default, and you will see a preview of that block in the right corner here, and I click OK. So once you click, now you can select the thing very easily. Means earlier if you select this one, you will only select only one line, but if you select this one, it will select everything at once, and this is the point where I use as the base point or the pick point. Now if you want to move this block without using the move command, you can easily move this block anywhere. So if you want to have a block inside, you can use. If you want to get a copy of that one, you can launch the copy command and get the base point. Since my object is already selected, it is asking for the base point. I use this base point and you can easily have copies on them. So I will press escape now. Now the best thing in blocks is this one. So if you update the block, it will automatically reflect in all blocks. That is the most beautiful thing in blocks. So if I select this object and right click, then go to block editor, So let us say, if you can remember, there was a line from here to here in the initial block. We didn't draw that one. So now we are going to draw that line. So I select this home tab and go to line option. So let us say we are drawing it from this corner to this corner and click enter to finish that one. Now there's a little problem, that is this layer and this layer are different. So you can select this line and move to the correct layer, but the easiest way is to use match properties command here. So once you select this command, first we need to select the based object to get the properties from. Then you have to select the object we need to change the properties. It will automatically get the properties from the other objects. So that is another new command we can use in AutoCAD. So after finishing all these things, you can go to close block editor and you have to save the changes. And after save changes, you can see every block is now updated with the new line here, and you can see the ones we copy without the block, it is not updated. So you can see now how important to convert the object to a block, so that we can update the objects very easily. So that is about AutoCAD blocks. Now we are going to learn about adding text into the drawing. So before adding any text, we need to have a layer for that text. So to do that, we need to go to Home tab, go to Layer Properties, and I will get a copy by entering this one, and my new layer is text, and I have the color as white. It is 255 color number, and I close it. Before closing it, I have to make sure that this layer is the current layer. So to make it the current layer, I will double click here. In here I will double click. It will become the current layer. You can see now it has become the current layer. Now I close this one. So now I am going to add text. So I go to Home Annotate tab here. Annotate tab. Then go to multi-line text. Select here. Now it is asking to have a rectangle to get a text editor to add the text. So I have to create some kind of a rectangle here, so it will launch up a text editor. So inside this text editor, you have to type the text you want. So I will type it as window frame. Now you need to make sure that you have the correct size of text here. So there are a lot of ways to add the correct sizes and you can create styles for text, but we are not going to learn that far at the moment. To change the text size, I will select all these things and set this text size to 100 at the moment. So it will become 100, but when you see it for the first time, it will looks like large, but if you click away from the text editor, it will come to the correct size. So that is the window frame in this text layer. Now let us say we need to rename all these things. So to do that one, instead of going to the command text command again or mtext again, I will use the Home tab and copy this object, and from this base point I will copy all these things here and press escape. Now I double click and delete the existing one and add the new one. That is kind of easy. So you can use Ctrl A to select all these text at once. So now I have created text for all these objects. If you like, you can move the text to a proper location so that it gives a better view. Now we are going to add dimensions to this object. So if you are going to give this object to someone else after plotting, that means after printing, if that person needs to recreate this object using the print, you have to mark the dimensions like we have created this object earlier. So in this we are going to look at how to add the dimensions to this object. So before that we need to have a layer for dimensioning. So I will go to layer manager using the layer properties here. So I will create a new layer for the dimensions. I press enter to create a new layer. I will type dimensions as my new layer and I will change the color to magenta here, and also I will change another color here. I will change this 255, which is white color, to a separate color like this, because so I want to make sure this color is not used somewhere else. So I will use this type of color, color 20 here, because if you are going to plot these things, it will be a problem when the color white is going to plot. Sometimes it will not be shown on your print. So now I make this dimensions 1 as the active layer. So I make it current and I close this one. So before doing some other dimensions, I need to change some dimension defaults. I will type D on my keyboard to access the dimension styles. Then I click this dimension style here. So we are going to change this dimension style. So currently we have already available dimension styles. I am not going to change this style. Instead I will overwrite or have a new style from that one. So this time I will use my text height. I am on the text tab. The dimension text will be shown in text height of 50, and I will move on to symbols and arrows, and this time I will change the arrow size to 25. So it will be shown once we are adding the dimensions. So I will click OK now and I will make it current. I will make this style current by set current and click close. So now what I do is, to mark these dimensions, I go to annotate tab. So we need to mark these lengths and these radiuses of the circles and arcs to get a better idea of this dimensioning. So to add dimensions, you have several options. So to add vertical and horizontal dimensions, you can use linear option. So if you have to mark aligned dimensions, you can use aligned option. So in this case we have only horizontal and vertical dimensions, so I will use this linear option. So I select this endpoint and come to this endpoint and click upwards. So now this dimension is marked. So in the same manner I launch the same command and I do mark this length as well. So I will mark this inside length as well, because we need that also if you are going to recreate the object using the dimensions. I will use this length as well. Now all the lengths are completed. Now I need to now have these arc radiuses and circle radius. So I go to radius option from the dimension. I select this one. So I zoom here. First I select the outer circle and click here. Now it gives the radius value. You can move the cursors anywhere to get the radius dimension into place. I will click here and I relaunch that one again and select the inside circle now and give the dimensioning. And I do the same to this arc and do the dimensioning. Now I zoom out. Now you can see we have finished the dimensioning. So there are a lot of things we can do with dimensioning by creating dimension styles, but as a start for basic understanding, this is what we are doing at dimensioning. We also call this annotating AutoCAD objects. We are going to plot this thing into a sheet of paper. So to access plotting, you have three options. You can access plotting by going to application menu, and from print you can access plotting. So plotting and printing is similar. In AutoCAD we call it plotting. So also we can access plotting from here, from the quick access toolbar. Otherwise you can press Ctrl and P on your keyboard to access the plotting from the command line. So if I press Ctrl plus P on my keyboard, it will go to the plotting mode. Now this is the plotting window. So first you need to set up a printer here. Let us say we are going to create a PDF. We have to select this plotter printer option, set to DWG to print. Then you have to select the paper size. Currently I will use A4 paper size. Then you need to define what area you need to plot. So there are so many options to set. So I am going to select this window mode, and I will now select the window I need to plot. Let us say I need to plot this area. Then you can center the plot by clicking this option, and you can use the portrait and landscape option from here. I will use the landscape option. Now the plot will be looking like this. Now you can use two plot styles usually. If you use AutoCAD or ACAD CTB style, it will be plotted in colors. If you use monochrome style, the plotting will be in black and white. So I will be using ACAD CTB plotting style. So I click yes to apply all of layouts. Now if you want to see a preview of the print, you can click this preview option. So you can see now this is how your plot preview will looks like. So if you are satisfied with this plot preview, you can directly go to plot from here. So if you need to do some adjustments, you can press escape and go back and do the changes. So I will plot now from here. Then it is asking for a location to plot. So you can give a name to the plot and click save. So it will be plotted now. After some time, the PDF will be opened using the PDF viewer on your computer. Now you can see the view is now plotted. So this is how to use the plotting option in AutoCAD. Finally, we are going to talk about drawing templates. So here in my screen, we have created some objects, and we have also created a block. So let us say we need these layers, and sometimes we need these blocks time and time again in various occasions in our drafting. Instead of creating this every time, there is an option in AutoCAD to change these layers and blocks in a separate drawing type called drawing templates. First, we need to delete all these objects from our drawing. I select everything and press delete. Now you don't have anything in the drawing. What you should do is go to application menu, then go to save as, and there you have drawing template. So for the drawing template, we will type a new name, my template. You can give your own name. I will type it as millimeters because the units used in this template is millimeters. So I click save. So we can give a description if your name and other details if you like. Let us say my custom template with millimeters, and it is the measurement is metric. That means we have millimeters and meters as units. So I click OK here. Now it is saved as a template. So I will close this one for the moment. So let us say now I am going to start a new drawing. So I go here and go to new. Now it is going to the default template location. You have to select the template you created and click open. Now once you open, I will go to the layer properties here. So you can see your all layers are already inside this drawing. So you don't need to create a new drawing and add these layers. It is already in the drawing. So in that old drawing we had a block for the sofa. So that block is also in this drawing. You can access that through insert tab. There you have an option to insert a block in this block panel. So if you click this drop down, you can see there is a block icon here, this sofa block. So if you click here and if you place, you can automatically get the block into that drawing. So that is very easy. So if you have many blocks other than one block, you can easily add the blocks into the drawing. So that is why we are using templates. So in this manner you can create several templates according to your requirement. So that is how you use AutoCAD templates with your work. With that, we conclude the tutorial to guide you with the basic knowledge of AutoCAD.